I've had a great time playing games in 2021. I got to finally play pretty much every Sony exclusive under the sun. Halo Infinite came out, and it didn't suck. I didn't have to play any Assassin's Creed games. More importantly though, I've had the pleasure of exploring some truly outstanding narrative experiences. Tons of emotional heavy hitters like the smart and moody Disco Elysium, gut-wrenchingly beautiful Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Emily is Away 3, which always does a great job of making me feel like a shitty person. All of these games have stuck with me for one reason or another, but a late entry in my 2021 lineup really shined as my favorite game this year. Between its unique art style, soothing soundtrack, and wholesome writing, Sable is surely my game of the year. What happens when you take Breath of the Wild, remove all of its combat, add hover bikes, and make it a sci-fi wasteland? You get a stylized coming-of-age tale about a girl named Sable and her hoverbike named Simoon. Throughout the 5 to 20 hour runtime, you take Sable on her gliding, a rite of passage that sends her on a journey of self-discovery and worldly exploration. In the game's setting, the gliding is where a young adult chooses their mask, which in turn determines what their job will be from that point on. As Sable travels through the harsh and stunning desert, she comes across people in need, ruins to explore, and mysterious spaceships from an era long gone. All of these encounters have the potential to grant her badges, which can be combined into a mask. Helping out machinists will lead to the machinist mask, while collecting and selling scrap might result in a scrapper mask. Collecting these fulfills the purpose of the gliding, and the player can end Sable's journey at any point once a mask has been found. With Sable's gliding as a framework for the game, you'll be climbing, jumping, and flying through the open world to help Sable figure out her place in it. At its core, the game is almost a carbon copy of Breath of the Wild, sans combat or fail states. NPC interactions take place through text boxes, climbing has a stamina wheel that pops up, sailing off ledges is still fun, and collecting strange creatures and trading them for stamina upgrades is still weird. The only main difference is that Sable navigates the landscape while she navigates her identity, which is an inherently more peaceful process than Link having to overcome dangerous enemies in a variety of deadly environments. If you like Breath of the Wild and don't mind not getting to fight anything, then Sable will almost certainly satisfy you. It takes more than stealing gameplay from an almost 5-year-old game to be my game of the year though, and Sable definitely succeeds in standing out. If you haven't noticed yet, this game is a fucking stunner. I'm not even sure what to call the art style. It's like kind of cel shading, but isn't as comic booky. No idea, but it's absolutely gorgeous and goes a long way into making Sable's journey a unique one. The landscape is colorful, mysterious, thoughtful, and bold, just like Sable. Each of the 7 regions you explore has a different color palette, atmosphere, and reason to search every nook and cranny for new stuff to explore. For a game about accepting oneself and learning to appreciate the variety in life, the colorful art style drives the point home in a fun and memorable way. The visual aesthetic only does half the work, however, and the whole package is wrapped up nicely in a mellow, earthy soundtrack from Japanese Breakfast. While solving puzzles in a beetle nest or climbing up a tower to meet a cartographer, the music is like a third companion to Sable and Simoon that provides gentle and relaxing context to the task at hand. Sometimes there's no music at all, and you're left to contemplate your existential journey in silence, with only the occasional interruption of shifting sands or whistling winds. Like the visuals, the music completely reinforces the themes of the game by always reminding the player that there is beauty in discovery, whether of the world or of the self. There are few games I come across that feel as genuine and earnest as Sable. The music and the visuals make the game beautiful, sure, but the true heart of the story is in Sable's interactions with the world around her. Merchants, machinists, guards, poets, everyone Sable meets throughout her journey often remark on the significance of the gliding, and they seem bittersweet when reminiscing on their own glidings. It's an important moment for Sable. She's on the cusp of making one of the most consequential decisions she ever will. She's a young girl, thrust into a landscape so vast, so unknown, that her only option is to be open to whatever comes her way. There is freedom to not knowing who you are. That's often contrasted with the stability of a well-planned out and routine life. The best part about this game for me was that it reminded me that these ideas are not always at odds, and while there are certainly big moments in your life, you get to choose who you are every single day.